Does the fact that I'm the victim who stopped this crime in time mean that the whole thing doesn't exist? If I'm really a victim, would a few years in jail be enough to make up for my trauma? The police officer was indifferent for a while. He said he was sorry. The policewoman came over and patted me on the back. The scumbag driver was relieved to hear that he'd only be detained for a few days. When the police took him away, he stopped next to me. "I'll make it up to you when I get out of here, little girl." The policewoman told him that this was a police station. Then she sent me to the door. She left me her mobile phone number and told me to contact her if I was in danger. I thanked her and left. I didn't go far. My mobile phone rang. It was a strange call. I was a bit confused and answered the phone. "Hello, sir." The unfamiliar male voice on the other side of the phone. "You're Zhang Yu, right? You're the one who broadcast the live show, right? Why are you so fucking shameless? You can't even show this to the world. It's a good thing we're not from the same place. It's a good thing you're not my girlfriend." "Oh no, you're my girlfriend. Is it worth it?" I didn't have time to think before I opened my mouth to curse. "I'm worthy of being your mom. If you miss your mom, come and watch me live more often. Seeing me is the same as seeing your mother." Without waiting for him to call me back, I hung up and blackmailed him. Soon after, there were unfamiliar calls. I didn't answer any of them. I hung up on them all. My boss also called. I thought it was an emergency. Instead, he said all my information had been dug up and put on the internet. To avoid affecting the company, he asked me to rest at home for a few days. I could go back to work after this. He also said that my salary would be suspended. I didn't think it would affect my work, so I asked my boss if I could work online. The boss refused my request. He even sarcastically told me, "Zhang Yu, I didn't realize you're such a restless person. You're so good at disguising yourself. If you can do it, then do it. If you can't, get out." I let out a deep breath. "Working for an idiot like you. I'm afraid that one day lightning will strike and I'll get involved. You're at peace. You treat Footbath Town as your home, a hooker as your mother, and a shit in the toilet as your treasure." I hung up after that. When I got on social media, my private messages will explode. "Don't be afraid. We'll put you on the hotspot. We'll make that scumbag pay. Go for it. You're not sleeping at home in the middle of the night. Who told you to hang around outside? You deserved it, didn't you? Did you go out in the middle of the night to look for a man? But you didn't get along with the driver, so you framed him. It's hype. Are you going to start carrying goods next?" I closed the platform with a blank face. There are many good guys in this world, but there are also many evils. Soon my other social accounts rang. They were all friend verification messages. I ignored it and checked my friends' feeds. Oh my god, I know why so many people added me. My primary school classmate. He openly sold my photos and information in his circle of friends. I opened his chat box. I greeted him from head to toe. Then I posted about him selling my photos to my friends and classmates. I entered his company's group through a friend. I posted a copy of the evidence in their group. But even though I handled this matter in time, there was still a lot of public opinion on the internet. The internet said I was really hyping it up. Now it's all about attracting traffic in order to sell goods on the platform. Those who supported me originally, those who still support me, those who remain neutral, plus those who didn't believe in me started abusing me, including my family. It got worse and worse. My friend came to my house. She hugged me in pain and asked me to stay at her place for a while to get away from the storm. I didn't agree with that idea. I'm not the one at fault. Why should I hide? Why should I be scolded? I told her, I'm going to start a live broadcast and tell the whole story from beginning to end. My friends advised me not to do it. Those people won't listen to your explanations. They only hear what they want to hear. They don't care about the truth. Why don't you just let things fade away? No one will remember it after a while. I told her, I have to go on air. My explanation is not only to prove my innocence. I also want to tell those people who are still helping me. They didn't make a wrong choice. Good is good. Evil is evil. My friends chose to support me. I turned on the live broadcast and refused the reward. I told them the whole story. I also told them in the live broadcast, I will sue the classmate who sold my information, and I would never use it as a gimmick to sell goods. That was the end of the matter. But 10 days later, I saw the scumbag driver in front of my neighborhood. He was kneeling on the ground, crying. There was a girl with a mobile phone next to him. When he saw me, he ran towards me. Why did you do this to me? Didn't you ask me to cooperate with you in the film? I told you it was inappropriate. You said when you gain fans, they'll forget about it after a while. Then you'll make a fortune. I played along with you. Not only did you accuse me with the police, you even framed me on the internet. How can you let me live? I have a family. My daughter is still in school. I need money. And now the platform refuses to take orders from me. You're too cruel. People in front of the neighborhood are starting to blame me. After all, the world sympathizes with the weak. Whoever cries is the victim. I saw the arrogance in his eyes. Are you playing this game with me? Okay, then I'm going to go crazy. I started crying and shouting. Do you want to force me to die? You can't see my evidence. You can't see the police's judgment. You can see it when he cries. What else do you think I have to do to prove my innocence? Is it only when I'm dead? Will you realize that I'm the victim? Do I have to die? Flying snow in Dune. Then you'll realize you've wronged a good man. You don't blame the abuser, but you keep cyber-violating me, the victim. What do you want? Fine, I'll die now. Are you satisfied? As soon as I said that, I ran into the street. A car close to me couldn't brake fast enough. It was about to hit me. A tall man pushing me out of the way. I fell to the ground. My leg was bleeding. I sat down and cried. Everyone around me was embarrassed and came to tell me to stop crying. The car was in such a hurry that it crashed into the scum. The scum watched in horror as the car rushed towards him. But he had been kneeling for too long. His legs went numb and he couldn't get up. His right leg was crushed by the wheel. With a scream, it was a bloody mess. I rubbed my eyes with my hands and said in my heart, You deserve this. The girl with the mobile phone rushed over to me. The man who pushed me away said to the girl with the mobile phone, Why are you only filming this guy? Why are you filming him when he's crying? This girl is also bleeding. Why do not you film it? Are you and this man a family? The little girl looked nervous and didn't say anything, and pointed her phone at me. So I cried harder. I cried louder on my side. He shouted loudly on his side. The driver of the car heard the screams and backed up. One scream led to 2 injuries. The driver got out of the car and looked at the scum and said in surprise, Kung, why are you here? Hyun bared his teeth in pain and turned pale. Do you know how to drive? The driver scratched his head. I was just sending a message to the group. I was wondering why there was no message from you. So you were under my car. The bystanders called for an ambulance. The scene was chaotic, but I heard the lady next to me whispering, Oh my God, what revolution. I was helped home by the neighbors. As I was leaving, they advised me not to do anything stupid. Look, as long as I don't have any morals, you can't kidnap me. The next day, I woke up and received a text message. The scumbag driver asked me to compensate him for his moral damages. lost wages and medical expenses. He said it was all because of me. He said it was because of me that he broke his leg. In short, he wanted money. He even threatened me. If I don't compensate him, I won't be able to go to work and live a normal life. He'll come after me every day. I admit I was threatened by him. So I immediately went to the print shop. I printed 0 flyers with a text message in color. And then I went to the place where his daughter was raked over the coals during school hours. At the end of the school day, I went to the high school where his daughter had been raked over the coals. I stood in front of the school. One student came. I sent one out. And tell them if they know this girl. Ask them to pass on the message for me. Ask her to persuade her father. Give me a way out. When I ran out of leaflets, I stood in front of the school and told them stories. Several people shared one leaflet. I stood there for a long time. But I didn't see that little girl. Maybe she was avoiding me. It was getting late, so I went home. And once again, my behavior was filmed on the internet. This time, many people thought I had gone too far. It's not as bad as my family. Why make things difficult for a young girl who is still in school? This woman is getting more and more shameless. Are you girls helping girls? Which one are you going to help? Seriously, I'm a girl. I think she's gone too far. Are girls really innocent? Wasn't she good at filming when she was live? I turned on the live broadcast again. The obscenities that came out of my eyes were so loud. After they had vented for a while, I spoke slowly. When did we get victim guilt theory? What kind of victim gets a unanimously favorable opinion? I had the courage to go public with this. But some people's attitudes. It's the attitude of some people that dashes the hopes of those who are brave enough to come forward. Maybe you have a female loved one who was molested by his comeback when you didn't know it. You didn't know. Maybe she was too embarrassed to talk. Maybe she knew that if she spoke up, she'd get nothing but accusations. There was a pause in the comments. But then they started asking me to explain about the girls' school and told me not to change the subject. I smiled. Do you believe in sexism? Do you believe that some girls are more vicious than adults? I had a request for a link to my live feed. I said yes. It was a couple of girls in school uniforms. The uniforms of that very high school. The girl in the lead rolled up her sleeves. She burned the cigarette scars on my arms. Is she innocent? The second girl lifted up her shirt. These teeth marks on my stomach. She locked me up in a shabby yard and was bitten by a stray dog. Is she innocent? The third girl held up a covered portrait. She stripped this girl naked, took nude photos of her, and then jumped to her death. Is she innocent? The three girls held hands, their eyes red. They gritted their teeth and whispered again. Are we innocent? What more evidence do you want to see? Do we need to show our student IDs to prove it? In the comments at the bottom, some people started to say their names. I'm A. I was in their class. I'll prove it. I'm B. I was in their class. I'll prove it. I'm C. I was in their class. I prove it. The only thing that seems to be left in the comments is this sentence about me proving it. After waiting for a while, suddenly someone commented, "Why didn't you tell the teacher or call the police?" The lead girl cried and said, "Because we didn't dare. She's a bad person. Her father and his friends are all rascals. We've been threatened all the time. She doesn't dare to bully powerful people. She only bullies people like us who are from poor families." The comments were all over the place. There seemed to be those who said the victim is guilty, but they were quickly called out. That's when I was intrigued by a comment. The family was live, streaming a jump. A lot of people exited my broadcast and went to another one. I also took out my tablet to watch in sync. The scumbag driver stood on top of a tall building and shouted, "I didn't really do anything. Why are you focusing on my family? My daughter is still young. Cannot you give him a chance? Kids don't know what they're doing." I looked at the comments on the live broadcast. No one sympathized with them this time. Your daughter is still young. Wasn't a girl she forced to jump off the building young? Have you given her a chance? The scumbag driver couldn't wait for someone to speak up for him. He's threatening me with his life again. Let me tell you something. If I jump, you're all murderers, you know that? Do you have any more shame? The policewoman led some women to the rooftop and questioned them. Kyung, do you remember them? Kyung's eyes flashed and he said, I don't know them. The oldest woman said, it's not easy for them to have the courage to come up here. I'll say the rest for them. I was in your car. I was raped. She pointed to the first woman. She said that your daughter told her that her father had fainted and needed help, and that she was tricked into coming to your house. She was raped. She pointed to the second woman. She said you gave her to another driver. Raped. She paused for a moment. She went on to the last one. You said your daughter needed a tampon. She went with you and was raped. Maybe there are more girls out there who have fallen victim to you. They just didn't have enough courage. It's okay. We'll get them justice. The video you used to threaten us is the same evidence we used to send you to jail. We didn't go to the police before. We didn't dare to tell anyone. It's because we were afraid of what the world would think of us. But, Miss Zhang, you gave us the courage. It's never our fault. It's you. It's those internet spammers. Who are you to insult us? What's the difference between you and those people who empathize with animals? We've come forward, and we hope more people will come forward. If we stand together and say we're right, then more people will know we're right. Someone on the air made a comment. I used to think it was because my boyfriend and I had different perspectives. Until today, after listening to his words, I realized that it's not a difference in perspective. It's a difference in outlook. A person who defends scum. I can't believe what he's done in his private life. Something he did without my knowledge. I'm glad. They're finally getting it. Some things aren't normal. They're sick. On the air, some people started writing about their own experiences with molestation. That's the way it should be. Only when people are not ashamed to speak out. It's only when people aren't ashamed to talk about it that those who do it will get what they deserve. The older girl asked Kyung, are you going to jump or are you going to come down? Kyung knew he couldn't defend himself, but he never wanted to die. He swallowed. He was about to lead his daughter down. At that moment, Kyung's daughter slipped. She screamed and fell downstairs. Kyung's leg had not yet healed. He was already unsteady. By his daughter's force, she was dragged down too. For the sake of acting, they stood at an angle close to the edge, so there was no time for anyone to stop them. Then, I heard the ambulance. I think he's still alive. I posted my last message on my social media platforms. I've had both men and women abusing me about this. There were men and women who supported me. I want to say that when this kind of problem arises, it's never the gender that's at fault, it's the person who's doing it. It's never a conflict between men and women. It's a conflict between the perpetrator and all of us. I was relieved when more and more people forwarded this message. I quietly canceled my account. End of story.